Welcome. We're here at episode 2 of DFW Professional Spotlight. I have my good friend and the founder of Clean Finances, Brandon Briscoe, and we're in the wonderful Continental Gin building and in the common desk space here. This is down in Deep Ellum. Really great space if you're looking to rent as a business owner. Brandon, welcome to the show.
Thanks, I'm really happy to be here.
Good, yeah. So a little bit about DFW Spotlight, and you've seen it, and if you're tuning in for the first time, the idea about this is networking that promotes others, okay? A lot of times in networking, we're here to promote ourselves. Today, we're focusing on Clean Finances and owner and founder Brandon Briscoe. So Brandon, tell me a little bit about you and Clean Finances.
Yeah, well, Clean Finances started about 8 years ago, so it's been a long time running now, and I was able to start it. My wife and I actually got married very young, so I had graduated from college, turned 21, and got married within about 30 days. And then, so that was a pretty big month of my life,
right.
And went straight out of college into kind of deciding what to do next. And essentially, through school, I had been working for a few years as a bookkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
Really loved it. Really enjoyed working with the numbers. And that turned into kind of working as the finance director for a couple of different nonprofits. Had a great mentor I was able to sit underneath and learn so much from.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of that origin story of graduating from school, getting married, kind of understanding what's next for me and my wife and my career, and realizing that I had made this critical assumption that one of these employers was going to offer me a full-time job. And that didn't end up coming through. So it was this kind of fork in the road to pivot towards, going ahead and applying some places and pursuing kind of a traditional career, or taking everything I had learned through the years of school and bookkeeping jobs and stuff like that, and seeing if I could pivot that into helping more clients and maybe starting an LLC. So a little bit about me and Clean Finances, it really is just, it's been kind of a natural thing that made sense since the beginning to start that. Had an incredibly supportive wife who's been there through the 8 years of just kind of slowly growing it. And really just, as far as, a little bit more practical, down to earth things.
Yeah.
What we do is we partner with clients, small businesses, nonprofits, entrepreneurs, and we offload from them the stress of financial upkeep with the bookkeeping and the accounting and the accounts payable and the payroll. So we like to be able to really curate our services around what's the customer need to be able to outsource their financial back office without having to hire a full staff of accountants and bookkeepers. So we're dealing with organizations who maybe they have a full-time accountant, but they're wanting to outsource some bookkeeping, or maybe they just aren't ready for a full-time staff member in that role. Yeah. And we want to be able to hit that sweet spot of meeting that need for them at a outsourced fractional sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense, and it's a big need. I mean, we have companies that are growing or with compliances. I mean, accounting and how we generate revenue is how businesses exist. Yeah. And which leads me into my second question is, like, companies need good financials to continue growing. So the name Clean Finances, I love it. To me, it's said, when I think of finances and I think of maybe starting companies or companies that don't have a full accounting, I don't really think of it being clean. So you applying that name Clean Finances, how'd you get that name? Is there a story behind it?
Yeah, there's a little bit of story. I've kind of always been a clean freak. And I grew up in a big family, and my parents gave me a book when I was probably 10 or so, and the title of this book was What to Do When Your Mom or Dad Says Clean Your Room. And this became like my Bible. I would read it all the time, and I would love, it's just completely a confession of how dorky I have been in my life, but I loved this book, and I would take the step-by-step instructions of how to take something that's very overwhelming and chaotic, follow the step-by-step instructions to make it very simple to work through, very calm, very clean by the end of that result. And I kind of like enveloped that ethos and kind of just like the way that I try to operate. I love trying my best. Not that I'm any smarter than the next guy, but I love it when I am able to take something that's complex and help somebody make it a little bit more simple. So when it came time to go ahead and make this decision and launch out to start the company, I had kind of clean was in my mind, and I know that so many organizations, especially small entrepreneurs just getting started, nonprofits without all the resources to outsource everything. I knew that there was just such this common thread of organizations just kind of taking the financial aspect of their business and kind of putting it on the shelf. And whether it's just kind of, we've always done it this way and it's good enough, so we don't need to invest in improving it, or we're gonna be okay. I'll check my bank account balance and run the business that way. And the financial mess of backed up reconciliations and receipts all over the place, miscategorized transactions just starts to pile up. So we wanted to be able to take something that is very often a headache for people and very often a messy situation and kind of cast a different vision for that. And cast this vision for running your business with clean finances and what that could do to empower you to really maximize your impact in business.
And I took a few things away from there. Not only maximize, but when you look at we may have entrepreneurs that may have visions of maybe selling their private equity, which we have a lot of firms here in Dallas, or looking for investors for a project, or they may need to go to a bank for additional line of credit to help with an expansion portion. And what's one of the first things that those organizations ask for? They want to see the financials, and they want to see what's behind it. And I've gone on, I've seen, and you've updated your dashboard has complete transparency for that client. And then when you look at the dashboard, can you just quickly touch on your dashboard and it's literally a clean look. So if you need to, if someone says, hey, entrepreneur, business owner, let me see your financials. What can clean finances do for that?
Thanks for bringing that up. The dashboard is something that's come up through over the years, and it's had iterations, and we've really had some amazing developers help us with this over the last few years. So essentially, the idea is there's a lot of options to get your books in order, right? There's a lot of people who can do the bookkeeping and things like that. We wanted to find a way to really set clean finances apart in a way that we function, and that was to develop this dashboard that clients have access to for free with our services. And essentially it's a way to take what's very commonly confusing or overwhelming, and sometimes, not every entrepreneur really has the background of reading a financial statement with full confidence. So we want to take something that can be very complicated and make it very clear. So we've developed essentially a landing page, a dashboard for clients to sign into and securely see their financial data in a very bite-sized, easy to comprehend way. So it's a very bird's eye view, visual way of viewing your numbers through the activity section of your P&L, through the cash flow section of your statement of cash flows, and through that kind of balance section within your balance sheet. If you wanted to check that out and kind of see what we're talking about and visualize it, you can actually just head up to cleanfinances.com and scroll down a bit. There's a way to view the live demo of that dashboard.
And it's and I'm not going to try to make this about myself, but in the insurance world, directors and officers insurance, professional liability, I have to ask a lot of business owners. I say, hey, I need your financials and stuff like that. And I mean, it is they don't have the direct answer to it because it's not laid out that way in their current setting. And they're kind of saying, oh, but it's kind of something you need to get ahead of this before it's too late and get on track. So I really like, again, the whole story of clean finances with the claim, making it accessible, making it easy for the client, and then with the dashboard and the customer care, it's something that they will reap the benefit from in the short term and long term. So
we've got this saying of eliminate your financial clutter today so you can maximize your impact tomorrow.
I love that.
The dashboard is an important piece of that, to be able to have clients have something that's visual, quick to get to, and even presentable to board meetings, bankers, investors, etc.
Perfect, awesome. I like to ask this question. So you are an expert. So when I bring people onto the show, we have experts in fields, and I like, what are the 3 biggest issues you are seeing? We're kind of talking about, hey, there may be some clutter behind it, not a lot of transparency.
Yeah.
But what are the 3 biggest issues for business owners around bookkeeping and accounting that you're seeing currently?
Yeah, that's a great question. I kind of, what comes to mind is this framework that we use when we're working with clients and kind of bringing our solutions to them. And it's really this framework or this approach of having the right people, products, and processes.
Okay.
And those 3 things, if you think of those as like a Venn diagram, right? So the people part right there is a circle, products and processes. If you can really optimize each 3 of those functions within your financial organization, you're really going to be finding right there in the middle, right there in the center of your Venn diagram, you're going to be finding sustainable financial clarity.
Okay.
And if you're starting to realize that one of those pieces is missing or not really optimized to the level that it should be, that's where you start to run into some bigger problems with your accounting, with your banker needing something and you don't have a P&L ready. So that's from the solution-oriented view. But if you flip that, I really do think that those represent the 3 buckets of problems that most organizations are probably experiencing with their bookkeeping. So with people, you're asking yourself, do we have the right people managing this function?
Yeah.
And are they competent to know what they're doing with confidence? And do they have the skill set to not only keep the financials and deliver them accurately and on time? That's obviously baseline. But also, do they have a heart of a teacher to help the management team understand the financials and really tell that story of what the numbers are saying, so that it can lead to financial clarity and better business decisions. So there's the people piece. There's then the products. We see this a lot with organizations where we've done it this way for a long time. We're going to keep doing it this way. And there's not enough of a pain point that drives them to like upgrading a software or introducing a software for a new process. So really with the products piece, we're asking, is your organization set up for success and set up for scalability within the products that you're using for your accounting software, for your payroll software, accounts receivable, invoicing and all the things, receipt management, bill processing. These are all critical functions that whether you're tackling them through this one software all in-house or a few different things, whatever the answer is, you want to really be intentional to make sure it's optimized for your business and for your industry and it's working well and you're not having to deal with the headache of products that are not serving you.
Okay.
And then just that third piece of processes. If you got great people and you've got great products and then you kind of just try to step away and leave it on autopilot, you won't be making clear financial decisions within the business. So the processes, I'm thinking of processes as, is there a rhythm to the financial reporting? Is there a rhythm to the reviewing of those financials? As a business owner, are you checking these numbers each month or each week to really understand the story that they're telling you and really move forward from that? So setting up good processes, good repeatable processes and habits within your organization to keep that sustainable financial clarity.
Okay. I'm going to throw a curveball your way, but something kind of popped up, and we see in, companies and entrepreneurs can be going on and they'll go, where did that money go? Is there any risk management to this that could, with your dashboard, could you catch things like employee theft or, and can you catch that quicker than if you didn't have your software?
Yeah. I think our software is mostly the functionality of making things visual.
Okay.
But the what we're offering to clients is we're not a software company. It's just kind of a cherry on top with the dashboard. We are a service-based business that's setting up clients with a dedicated account manager and bookkeeper who collaborate together as a client success team. And we really take seriously the function of like, all right, what are our key characteristics as a company? What drives us? What are we looking for in our next hire? And what are we championing as team members of this company? And really it comes down to, we want to keep integrity.
Yeah.
We want to keep excellence. We want to keep, kindness,
Mm-hmm.
and then curiosity. Those are the four kind of pillars of our culture. And obviously you've got integrity piece that's critical with financials. You've got, excellence in the way that we're operating. Kindness with really delighting the customer and just not being a dry accounting company. But that fourth piece of curiosity really is in the way that we operate, the way that we jump into QuickBooks Online and start coding your transactions. That is from a state of curiosity where if we your account manager and your bookkeeper really get to know your business, and we're running your books each month for a long time. So it's repeatable business for a long time. We build long-lasting relationships with clients, and we know their business, and we know kind of their transaction, history. And the curiosity piece is that we do raise questions when they come up. Hey, I noticed this very fraudulent looking activity, and we can kind of be the first eyes to a client when something like that happens.
Yeah.
And we've had situations like that come up.
That's risk management, and we think a lot about growing our businesses. And one part of growing, which we don't talk a lot about, is like having the key pillars, and your pillars stand for that. You have to have pillars and a solid foundation to grow. And I think Queen Finances is a part of that foundation to help companies get to that growth aspect. Because something could come through, not be caught, and then they're in financial ruin. And if they just had that solid foundation, they could have caught, protect, and rebuild from there. So, couple more questions. You're a business owner. So not only are you doing accounting and bookkeeping and providing that, but you're a business owner. We're probably going to have a lot of business owners listening to this and probably on the show eventually. So what are some advice you have for business owners that you have learned in the 8 years of Queen Finances?
Yeah, definitely still learning. But,
aren't we all?
Yeah. I think what comes to mind there is, I've talked a little bit about it, but really not, even if you outsource your books or delegate it to someone within your staff, never delegate the actual financial management. Never delegate the idea that I trust so-and-so and therefore the finances are good. Make sure that you're checking in to review those numbers, asking questions, and ensuring that you're understanding what's going on with the numbers. Because you're right, there can be a little corner in your business of a little bit of just clutter starting to come up or confusion starting to come up with the numbers, and some cash flow problems can really come from that if you don't really take it head on. So really understanding that the financial statements tell a story. I want to make sure as a business owner I'm taking responsibility to understand that story is a big piece of advice. Another thing is, when that story is telling you something, listen to it and to really confront the reality that you're living in. I think a lot of entrepreneurs, and I've been guilty of this, get really focused in, which is not wrong. We need to be focused in on this, but they get very focused in on the idea of their function to cast vision for the organization, to drive culture forward, to really be the optimist in the room that's rallying the troops around that vision for the future. And I think that's absolutely critical in a leader. But you want to make sure that you're not also at the same time creating this version of reality that's not attached to what's really going on. And what I mean by that is your financials tell a story. Listen to the story, confront reality, know what's going on with your cash flow, and make sure that you're making decisions to set your business up for success, and not kind of wishful thinking through the financial statements.
I love that. And a lot of entrepreneurs are great at what they do because they have a craft, they have an idea. And not everyone is gifted with the mindset of finances, so they do like to push that off to someone else. But I think that's when a company like Queen Finances can partner with entrepreneurs and help give them that insight into how the machine is working.
Yes.
And as I always like to finish up these shows, And something that's unique to DFW Professional Spotlight is, Brandon, you're on an elevator, you're in downtown,
Yeah.
you got a business owner in there, what's your elevator
Is
pitch?
this like a 30-story elevator or?
Yeah, you know, what did they say, 30 seconds or so?
Yeah.
So what's your 30-second elevator pitch?
Yeah, I just would talk to any entrepreneur that I'm, in front of and just say, your business is way too important to kind of just let it go on autopilot or go on the downward trajectory of mismanaged numbers. Your business is way too important, and we love working with business owners because we love that you're making an impact in your community, you're driving your mission forward, you're driving your team forward, and that's making a real difference in the world. And we love partnering with that type of entrepreneur to really set them up for success, and set them up for being able to continue to grow that business that they've started, and that organization that they're running, whatever the case may be. So yeah, take the numbers seriously. Get the people that you need on the team, and outsource that to Clean Finances if you're looking for a solution. And then run the business. Really like this stuff matters, and I know that organizations are there's just all the different types of things going on. So
Yeah.
take the numbers seriously, and have fun with it in the process.
That's awesome, and appreciate you being here on the show. Thank you guys for tuning in to episode 2 for DFW Professional Spotlight. We got my friend, founder, owner of Clean Finances, Brandon. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Stay tuned for episode 3. Thank you.